The way of the cross. In the ancient church, pilgrims came to Jerusalem during Holy Week to reenact the final events of the life of Jesus. In the course of time, a tradition grew up which followed the course of events from Pilate's house to Calvary. At first, the number of stations or devotional stops varied widely. By the 16th century, 14 stations became the fixed number of devotional stops. Of these 14, 8 are based directly on events recorded in the Gospels, while 6, numbers 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, and 13, are rooted in references from the Gospel or from legend. In modern times, this devotional, which carries the worshiper from the condemnation of Jesus at the cross to the entombment, became established in almost all churches throughout the world. Artistic renditions of these stations were placed in the walls of the church, either permanently or in a removable fashion to be brought out for use during Lent and especially during Holy Week. Moving to the first station. First station. Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Together, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. This is the way it was. There he stands, the young Galilean prophet, beside Pilate in the balcony of the Praetorium. In the night just past, he has suffered betrayal. He has been dragged from one tribunal to another. He has been insulted, slapped, and spit on. Most recently, he has been stripped, bound to a column, and flogged by 2 legionnaires, each wielding a set of thongs weighted at the end with pieces of lead. Now, nearly flayed alive, his blood soaking through the purple cloak they have put on him, the long thorns of the crown of mockery digging into his head, his face streaming with blood and spit, he stands. Pilate has evidently hoped to arouse the pity of the people. Gesturing toward his prisoner, he says, "Behold the man." But the mob, incited by the chief priests and their henchmen, are howling like souls in hell. "Crucify him! Crucify him! May his blood be upon us and our children." Pilate is washing his hands. Now he nods to his lieutenant to give the order to remove the prisoner. It is the death sentence.
Condemned to death, but Pilate said he could find no fault in him. What senseless miscarriage of justice! Why should he die? Why? And he hasn't opened his mouth, just stands there looking out over the crowd. Oh God, he's looking at me. He's looking through me, seeing me as I really am. What deep sorrow is in his eyes. Oh yes, meek and silent man of sorrows, how far am I from you? I who gloat over every chance to get even for the slightest reasons. I who have a heart seething with spite and rancor. I who burn with murderous hatred on the least provocation. I cannot face your deep and silent look of love and forgiveness. I understand now. I am the reason you must die. Have mercy on me, Lord, and heal me of the putrefying sores of sin by the merits of your love and obedience.
Moving to the second station. Second station, embrace. Jesus takes up his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by thy holy cross you have redeemed the world. This is the way it was. The Roman centurion gives his orders, and the legionnaires assigned to the task begin. They tear off the purple cloak which has stuck to Jesus' wounds. He shudders deeply. The blood begins to flow again. The soldiers replace his own clothing, which quickly become stained with blood. Two men come with the cross piece of the infamous instrument of brutal Roman justice, the cross. As they place it on the shoulders of the condemned, he staggers under its weight and takes hold of the rough timber to steady the burden. Two legionnaires take the ends of the long rope bound around his waist. Should he show any sign of falling back, they will drag him on. But this prisoner seems almost eager to proceed. Headed by the mounted centurion, the column comes out of the praetorium, and the death march begins.
Yes, Jesus, in your love for sinners like me, you collapsed the cross almost passionately. Although your life on earth you took the hard way out of love for others. In your public life, you walked the road, sweep through the desert summer, shivering in winter, with no place to lay your head. And now you go willingly to meet this hard death for love of me. And I, O God, for love of self, I treat myself to the best, always concerned with my own comfort, filling my belly like an animal with the finest food. And all the while around the world you, my Christ, are starving in my brothers in Bavaria, in India, yes, and here and in my own land of freedom. And when something threatens my self-satisfaction, I reach for still another cocktail, for one more double shot, to shackle my conscience and cloud my mind. Forgive me, Lord, and heal me of the putrefying sore of my sin by the merits of your pain and anguish.
Moving to the third station. This is the third station. First fall. Jesus falls the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. Even though it is late in the morning by now, only patches of sunlight fall into the narrow road between tall houses with their overhanging second stories. The rotten stink of the place is almost overpowering. It is a good thing the way to Golgotha is not long, or this man in his pitiful condition would die before he got there. His back and shoulders are a mass of raw wounds from the flogging, and with each slow and painful step, these wounds open still more. The rough wood of the cross bites deep into the flesh. A large patch of bright, fresh blood flowing from his shoulder stains the back of his robe. He stumbles on the uneven paving, and without strength to regain his balance, he goes down on his knees in the filthy roadway under the weight of the cross.
You, my Lord and my God, in this bloody weakness exert strength. Swallow the filth and garbage of the road to ransom me from my own filth. How often have I muddied with obscene books and dirty shows the mind you created? How many times have I desecrated this body of mine, which you made clean and sacred to your service? And every time I take my filth and fling it in your holy face, and jeer as you stagger and fall out of the depths, I cry to you, O Lord. Rescue me from the fires of lust, for I shall burn for eternity. Save me, God, save me.
Moving to the fourth station. Fourth station. Jesus meets his afflicted mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have
Redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. The soldiers in their red tunics and glittering helmets keep the crowd pressed back against the walls of the buildings along the way. Surely not all the crowd are curious followers of public executions. Surely some are friends, secret sympathizers, silent out of fear of the chief priest and their spies. But now a woman steps out into the way, a woman of the poorer class, in her mid-40s, but a woman of such sweet dignity and such modest liveliness, even in her terrible grief, that is no wonder that the centurion pauses for her to greet the prisoner. The rumor goes through the crowd. She is his mother. as she gazes at the pain-racked body, the bloodied nose, the swollen lips, the thorn-gashed brow. She turns white. These two look deep into each other's eyes, and their arms reach out for one another. But the centurion is anxious to finish the day's work. Without incident and with rough courtesy, he hurries her away.
In the midst of your anguish, your love still sustains her, while her mother's love for you makes an agony of her longing to help. How different I am in my treatment of those closest to me, those dear people whose help I should be shouldering my cross. How often do I think to say, darling, you look tired, let me help. Let me do it for you. How often do the holy words of love well up in my heart to make themselves known to my beloved? And how do I respond to those holy words? Forgive me, with a jeer? Only the really strong and manly man can afford to be gentle, to be tender. It is the weakening who has to shout and curse to cover up his weakness. Only the true and valiant woman can rule her husband's heart by her understanding gentleness. Jesus, my Lord, true God and perfect man, teach me to be strong and gentle with your strength and your gentleness.
Moving to the 5th station. The 5th station. The cross is laid on Simon of Cyrene. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because by your holy cross
you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. We are at the gate of the city now. The procession is moving more and more slowly. Each step this Jesus takes calls forth an agonizing effort, straining the battered muscles, wounding still more the cut and bleeding feet. The great timber with its rough-hewn surface was ground deeply into his shoulder. He slips in the filth of the street and sways, nearly fainting from pain and loss of blood, afraid that he will lose his prisoner to death before he can be executed. The centurion orders a man going by to take the crossbeam from the condemned and carry it for him. The people are saying the fellow's name is Simon. Well, Simon doesn't seem very enthusiastic, but he's taken the cross. His hands touch the hands of the prisoner, who is looking intently into Simon's face. There is a slight pause, and clearly, in this moment of transfer, something is happening to Simon.
How well I recognize Simon's resentment at his forced involvement. He's probably a loner, with all the loner's defenses against personal enroachments. They are my defenses, rooted deep in pride. Every man for himself. If some guy gets in trouble, that's too bad. He wasn't smart, never given in. The other fellow is always wrong. And if he gives you an argument, cut loose with the sarcasm. Dig him about his poverty, his family connections, his infirmities. O Christ, how often have I twisted the knife in you, in my brothers? I didn't know I couldn't see you in them. Give me the look you're giving Simon. Help me by your look to see you everywhere.
Moving to the 6th station. The 6th station. A woman wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. This is the way it was. We are outside the city now, and the air is better. The day is getting warmer, but it is the sweat of extreme weakness that is running down the bloody, dirty face of the condemned man. The salt sweat stings the open cuts and stings the eyes. Even though not burdened now by the timber of the cross, the man's terrible exhaustion and the pain of his torn body threaten to bring him down. He drags himself along, not even bothering to brush away the flies attracted by the smell of blood. Suddenly now another woman of courage comes forward from the crowd. She steps in front of Jesus, ignoring the ringing command of the centurion, the foul language of the legionnaires. Swiftly, but with great tenderness, she takes a large handkerchief and wipes the blood and sweat and dirt from the prisoner's face. The soldiers push and shove her out of the way, and the procession continues. But the woman is kneeling in the dust at the side of the road. She is holding up her handkerchief in wonder. There, miraculously imprinted on the linen, is the sorrowful face of the man she has comforted.
That funny little woman with her blazing eyes and her gentle hands that took courage. And when she gets home, what will the neighbors say? Because some busybody will have told them. They'll make it rough for her, but she won't care. She loves you enough, Lord, to be loyal no matter how tough things get. Not like me. I want everyone to know that I am one of the regulars, so that my so-called Christianity doesn't keep me from joining the crowd. Oh no. But for the opinion of a few pitiable lost creatures, I make a fool of myself and a joke of my God. Jesus, my God, forgive me for being a moral coward. In your compassion, give me the courage to stand with you, to give you my loyalty in all things.
Moving to the 7th station. The seventh station. Jesus falls a second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because
by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. How slowly we must go now. The prisoner is so weakened that each movement, it seems impossible for him to take another step. The legionnaires urge him on, but they are not so brutal about it now. They are more and more afraid that he will die on the way. The curious press as close as they can. There are always those who seem to batten like maggots on the blood of other men, who watch greedily the torment of another. Now, as the weak and bloody figure pauses and sways, there is an audible gasp from the crowd. What little strength he has left is ebbing fast. He goes down on his knees, and the collective stinking breath of the crowd issues forth in a long sigh as they push and jostle for a better view. 2 soldiers get him to his feet again. He strengthens and, oh God, tries to square those torn shoulders to go on.
Lord is the terrible pain you suffer in these falls. You are way bearing the cost of my vanity.
Vanity.
My vainglory, I strut through my little world, taking credit on all sides for the things I have, for the money I have, for my comfortable and cheerful home, my talented children, my friends. I am the center of it all. It all revolves around me. Lord, the thought of your humiliation for my sake makes me ashamed for what I got that wasn't given to me. And what have I got that I couldn't lose tomorrow completely and ardently, so that like Job in the Old Testament, and he was a good man, I would be stripped of it all. Lord, teach me by your weakness how helpless a creature I am, depending on you for all the goodness in my life.
Moving to the 8th station. The 8th station. Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. We've almost reached the place of the skull and the finish. But there is a little knot of women weeping and beating their breasts in lamentation. Jesus pauses to speak to them. To speak to them. Where is he getting the strength? This man's will is something unbelievable. What is he saying? He calls them daughters of Jerusalem and tells them to weep for themselves and their children, not for him. He sounds like one of the old visionary prophets, talking in broken phrases about times to come when men will cry to the mountains to fall on them and the hills to cover them. He is incredible, bone weary indeed, half dead in his ordeal, and yet still master of himself, still responsive to the sorrows of others.
You are speaking to me, Lord, as you spoke to these weeping women. You are telling me to skip the crocodiles' tears of false pity. Piety. You are saying, pick up your cross and follow me. Follow you, Lord. Where are you going? How your answers strike home. I am going to die. I too, Lord, am going to die. I don't like to think about this truth, but it is the truth, just the same. And now in this little moment, along the way, you offer me the choice. Will I go and die, follow you to the end of my life, and in my failing by dying alone, cursed my human fate, and in my final frenzy fear, call upon the mountain to fall on me, to hide me from the damnation I myself have chosen. O Christ, on your way to die, save me from the wrong choice.
Moving to the 9th station. The ninth station. Jesus falls the third time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Holy cross, you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. We have finally reached the foot of the little hill Golgotha. Some of the people have hurried on ahead to get the best purchase among the tombs to see the final glory. They are no better than the vultures hovering up here, waiting for the twisting
tortured bodies to twitch into final stillness. The prisoner begins the little climb, hatingly, painfully. Two legionnaires haul him along by means of the long rope ends, but it's not enough. He falls again, this time full length, his face pressed into the dust and dirt of the road. Will he be able to get up this time? The soldiers lift the sagging, pitiable fellow to his feet. Again, the tremendous effort of the command, the mass of searing wounds into his body. They say that this was the body of a perfect man. Well, maybe so, but no more. No more.
TJ?
In your weakness, my Christ, you teach me to be strong. How I need your strength to sustain me. I get so tired of the struggle. So tired of keeping track of these kids as they grow up so they will be straight. So tired of trying to be honest and citizen and a cut from world tired of always being one of to take the small try camping or giving up the days working on a bush. Enjoy it. Here's project. It seems sometimes as I pour all my effort into was making one step forward along the road with you, my water, Christ alone. To discover I have figured that 2 steps. When I wasn't looking how I long my weakness just to forget the whole thing, yes. To forget you, Jesus, and he just different with the crown. And then you look at me, and I don't do it. Where else is there to go? Apart from you, I am nothing keeping me coming, Lord. Please keep me coming.
Moving to station 10. Station 10. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. In spite of his terrible weakness and dizziness that goes with excessive loss of blood, this man Jesus has climbed to the low summit of the hill. This is the beginning of the end. It is not very complicated, really. These Romans know their work. First of all, he must be stripped. Crucifixion, a fairly common punishment in these times, is intended to be degrading, humiliating in the extreme. The reactions of a body in the death agony are uncontrolled. The stripping itself now is horrible business. The fabric of his robe has stuck to his wounds, the way any bandage will stick to a sore. But here it is, almost the whole surface of his body, and especially of that ghastly wound which is his back. The soldiers are in a hurry to finish now, and they handle him brutally. It is strange that their prisoner has not fainted at the sharp, enveloping pain which must be sweeping over him like fire. There he stands, stripped, clothed only in his own blood running down.
Yes, Lord, there you stand, stripped of everything for my sake. Your friends have run away. Your honor and your reputation have been made a laughingstock, and now even your clothes are torn off your body. Exposed to agony and shame, you have nothing. You are nothing. As the psalmist said of you so long ago, I am a worm, not a man. Bad joke among people. Do you accept all this, my Lord and God, to make up for my greed each time that I prostituted my living soul for money, hungered after the golden goddess of wealth, and sworn to have her no matter what the cost? Each and every time have I raised my hand to tear the blood-soaked linen from your back, and even torn the lacerated skin along with it. My God, forgive me for this pain I have worked upon you.
Moving to the 11th station. The 11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. They have laid Jesus on his back at the foot of the upright beam of the cross, which is permanently fixed in its place. His shoulders are on the crossbeam. He has refused the drugged wine they would have given him. The executioner measures with his eye the arm's length, and setting the spike at the wrist with one blow of the great hammer, he drives the spike deep into the wood. It needs only a few good taps to fix it firmly. Amazingly, Jesus has not cried out. but his face is so contorted, it is terrible to look at. Pain must be blazing through that hand and up that arm. Most men faint at this juncture, but not this one. He seems to have willed to remain conscious. Now the other arm is stretched out. The procedure repeated. Now they lift the ends of the crossbeam and make him rise and move backward against the stake. The ropes and pulleys are ready. With one dreadful cry, he dangles in excruciating agony from the nails in his wrists. It is the work of a moment to bend the knees and crossing the feet and avoiding the heels to drive the third spike through the feet into the lower part of the stake. Having gone through so much already, he must now suffer the fullest torture.
The Lord of heaven and earth stretches his pain-racked body along the razor roughness of the cross. The bed of agony. Rest well upon your chosen bed, my Lord. I have made my choice too, and it isn't yours. My bed is king size and deep with comfort. I clothe my body in silk and softest wool, and house it in luxury. The long sleek car with tiger purring engine in my carport is the most expensive on the block. Don't talk me into charity of those who waste away to death, malnutrition, or who stump along on half limbs through endless leprous days. Monstrosities and nightmares best be forgotten. Don't mention the cries of the sickly orphan children in a bombed-out wreck of a home. Cries multiplied 1,000 times around the world. Don't ask me to think of women screaming in childbirth on a heap of garbage. The Madonnas of the world's slums succumbing to the obscene, fly-infested death that perches on their agony and grins. Above all, O God, don't make me look at you upon the bloody tree. You, King of all the poor in spirit, don't make me listen to you, dying for love and saying, you must love these, my little ones, as I have loved you.
Moving to the 12th station. The 12th station. Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because by your holy cross
You have redeemed the world.
It is now almost the middle of the afternoon. It was about noon when they lifted him up. Very soon after that, the terrible thirst began, and it continued. He refused sour wine offered on a rope. The frightful cramping in the muscles began. His biceps became stained and distended. His fingers grotesquely angled. On his thighs and legs, the muscles formed monstrous, rigid bulges. The horrible spasms became strained and distended. His fingers grotesquely angled. The horrible spasms became generalized. The stomach muscles tightened agonizingly. The sides of the chest, the neck, all were involved. His face turned blue, and we thought it was the end. But no. With a superhuman effort, he lifted his body by pressing against the nail through his feet. Gradually, the chest muscles relaxed enough for him to get his breath. And then he spoke, praying for forgiveness. For his executioners. Several times he has stayed this asphyxiating death with an effort of blazing agony. And each time he has spoken, his mother has been standing by his cross from the first, and he knew it. He has given her into the care of the only disciple to stand there with her. The sky was darkened. The air hangs heavy and foreboding. The crowd is silent and uneasy. I can hear the bleating of the Passover lambs being readied for slaughter inside the city. The crucified gasps, "It is complete." And with a final struggle, the loud cry, "Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit."
I come before you, crucified lover of all men, and I am bowed and burdened under the weight of all my sin. I have so often nailed you to the cross, and you left me there to die. I have driven the nails of my hatred and prejudice through your hands and feet, spit into your face the lying and dirty language which befoes my lips, pelted your holy body with garbage of my lies, and made mockery of your selfless love. O Christ, my Christ, what will become of me? Where can I hide my shame from your sorrowful glance? I can't bear it. Then must I go your way of all betrayers, down, down, into the stinking, burning pit of hell. O God, my God, do not forsake me. I am caught in the jaws of eternal death, and only you can save me. Reach out your nail-pierced, twisted hand and touch me. Cleanse me, free me from my sins.
Moving to station 13. Station 13. The body of Jesus is placed in the arms of his mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
because
That
by
by
your
your
Holy
cross
you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. It is over. The sky is blacker than ever, and the very ground shudders and the rocks crack. The centurion looks around in wonder at these signs, and then at the battered human remnant sagging on the cross, the grotesque attitude of death by crucifixion. And the sardonic Roman face is suddenly luminous with the light of faith, and he declares, truly, this was the Son of God. Another soldier comes to plunge his lance into the dead man's side, and from the flow of blood and water which issues, some drops splatter on this man, Longinus. His face too becomes suddenly transfigured, and now it is necessary to act with haste. The dead body may not hang longer, lest it defile the great Sabbath, which will soon begin. One Joseph of Arimathea, a man of consequence, has gone to Pilate to request the body. A few of Jesus' followers have come to take him down. It is not hard. They remove the spike from the feet and unfasten the crossbeam to lower the body. They take the nails out of the wrists. Now they place the stiffening body in the arms of his mother, seated on a rock. She receives it with profoundest grief, her silent tears falling like rain upon the lifeless face.
As he gives his all, his everything, in total love for me, so does his mother, for she gave him. O God, don't let all this blood and pain and sorrow be for nothing. I heard the broken words, Father, forgive them. And the stream of blood and water flowing from this holy rock cleft for me in the desert of the world's evil. I too can bathe and be cleansed. I too can drink and be strengthened.
Moving to station 14. Station 14. Jesus is laid in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
This is the way it was. The final act is short. Joseph of Arimathea returns quickly with the governor's permission, and with a very beautiful, very white, large shroud. With him is Nicodemus, who is bringing the myrrh and aloes for the wrapping of the body. Close at hand is Joseph's brand new sepulchre, and he has given it for the burial of the crucified one. What little light is left is fading fast. This must hurry. These friends arrange the body and bind it in the linen shroud. Then weeping and with every sign of reverence, They placed Jesus' body in the tomb. Someone removes the wedge that holds the heavy stone. The stone rolls forward and closes the tomb. Now they are going away, and this place is left empty and silent.
Empty and silent, Golgotha now, and empty and silent and cold as the tomb has my heart been. Locked up in sin and refusing to open to the quiet knocking of the love of Christ. I have been dead to love and dead to life. O Christ, beat down the door of my resistance. Melt the ice of my stubbornness. Raise me from the tomb of sin to burial in you, to the Christ life. Help me to begin the real fulfillment of my humanity in union with you, my brother Christ, and with my brothers and sisters in you. Agony, death, and burial. How final it sounds. Like the triple trolling of the bell of doom. But you never mention these things during your life on earth, Lord, without speaking of a fourth, your resurrection into glory. And you promised that for us too, if we believed in you. And believing, took up the cross and followed you along the road to Golgotha. This is your mystery, your paschal mystery, Lord Jesus, which you hold out to us, which you want us to share with us. If we will only follow you in faith and hope and love, we believe, Lord, that you are the way, the truth, and the life. We trust in your love for us because you have proved it on the cross, and we trust in your word because you are God, word made flesh. And because you want to begin your love, you want to give you the only thing that is truly ours to give, the total gift of self, a gift that can only be given in love. We understand that the road is hard, and we know that we are not very brave. And so we ask you humbly, be with us on this road, Lord, please, and help us. Bring us finally to the dawn of resurrection. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.